Welcome to the January 14th, 2019 edition of the BitcoinNews.com Daily Podcast, where we cover the biggest stories of Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency every single day. This is your host, Space Marine, live from space. Bitcoin is currently at 3650. The trend at this exact brief moment is slightly downwards, but for the most part over the past 24 hours, Bitcoin's price has been fairly steady. At noontime on the 14th in the United States, Bitcoin actually had like a little bit of a short squeeze. I've noticed that when the price goes up for Bitcoin or down, it's going up like really fast. Like the rally will happen within an hour, the crash will happen within an hour or even less. And I think the rallies are probably short squeezes because the market has become dominated by futures selling or futures markets on like the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the Chicago Board Options Exchange, and also there's derivative markets on BitMEX and definitely on Bitfinex and probably several other major cryptocurrency exchanges. And all of these futures markets and derivatives markets involve leveraging and short selling and long selling. But when people go into short positions, they're betting that Bitcoin will go down, and then if for any reason Bitcoin goes up unexpectedly to them, like let's say a whale starts buying a lot of Bitcoins, like thousands of Bitcoins or tens of thousands all at once, then that can cause their short positions to be neutralized. And when a short position is terminated, it's called covering the short. And basically, in order to end the short position, they have to buy Bitcoin. They're obligated legally to buy Bitcoin to cover the short position and end it. So basically, if Bitcoin's price rises, it kills some short positions. And then the short positions getting killed causes Bitcoin to rise even more, and that kills even more short positions. And it all happens in really rapid fashion, often using trading robots. And that's the same thing going on in the actual stock market. There's trading robots are dominating the scene. And I think it's definitely happening in the Bitcoin market too. In fact, Bitcoin's more adaptable to trading robots than even the stock market. Bitcoin's just like a perfectly technological asset, and there's definitely trading robots impacting the market. So when we're seeing downward and upward movements, like for example, there was some tremendous downward movements, and they all happened within an hour. Like on January 10th, there was two tremendous downward movements that brought Bitcoin from 4,000 down to 3,600. And then on January 13th, there was another large downward movement that happened within 30 minutes from 3,600 to 3,500. And then here on the 14th, there was a nice big upward movement from about 3,540 to 3,670 within an hour. So I think that was a short squeeze. Basically, short sellers got neutralized, and that caused them to buy Bitcoins to cover their positions. And that leads to a rapid feedback loop involving trading robots and some people. In fact, the people are probably like the slower parts of the movements at the tail ends of like a movement like this. So you have the huge green candle going upwards from the actual robots, and then you see some more upward movements from people manually covering their shorts and ending their positions. So yeah, I just want to say that the Bitcoin's been moving very quickly. When it goes up or down, it's like very obvious there's trading robots, leveraging and short selling and derivatives and futures involved. It's a much different market than it was when I started in 2014. Alright, so Bitcoin's heading slightly down this morning. No obvious sign of like a major movement. Of course, there's these little short selling and long selling, candles that go quickly, even every hour, but they're pretty small usually. Like, I'm talking about the big candle that happened in the middle of the day at noon from 3540 to 3670. And right now, Bitcoin's going down a little bit to just less than 3640. But it's always interesting and important to watch these little gradual movements downwards or upwards. Right now, it's gradually going downwards a little because that could trigger a bigger move driven by the trading robots. Currently, the Bitcoin market cap is $64 billion, and the total crypto market cap is $122.5 billion. We saw the crypto market cap hit as high as $124 billion on this day on the 14th. And that's quite upwards from where it was at about $117, $118 billion. So it had a nice little rally because of that nice big green candle, which was probably a short squeeze. And but now it's like starting to give some of it back. All the major cryptocurrencies rallied on the 14th, but now they're giving back some of those gains. Ethereum is especially starting to give back some of those gains. I saw it go up to $130, and now it's back down to $127. Ethereum's the one to watch. This is going to be a very exciting and interesting week in news, and all the news will be centered on this Ethereum Constantinople fork, pretty much. Of course, there's other news going on. And there is a couple of interesting stories I'm going to go into today. But I've been watching the node adoption for the Ethereum fork, and it was at like 16%, but now it's showing like 47%, but at the same time, the nodes dropped from like 8,000 nodes to 3,300. And I looked up deeper into this. There's actually like about 10,000 Ethereum nodes, a little less. But for some reason, they're only scanning like 3,300 now. Like the number of nodes dropped in half. So basically, the numbers are very unclear at this point. It seems like adoption is pretty low for the fork, but now that's been obfuscated and hard to track. I think it's probably still around that 16%. So suddenly half the nodes that were being scanned to see the percentage that adopted Constantinople, like half the nodes are just like not being scanned anymore, and those half were pretty much like all nodes that didn't upgrade. I'm not sure what's going on there. That's on ethernodes.org. But yeah, this Ethereum Constantinople fork is coming. It lowers the inflation rate, which means they slash the block reward. So it's bad for miners, good for developers and investors. The developers don't want to have proof of work anymore. They're pretty clear about that. They want proof of stake, which is honestly more centralized. We talked about that in the past couple or a few shows. Basically, proof of stake could be decentralized, but it involves proof of stake voting, because Ethereum is a sort of community and cryptocurrency that needs voting because they do lots of updates, and the voting will be a lot more centralized because of the way staking works. I just want to be clear, it's not going to proof of stake right now. It's going to be purely proof of work right now, but the long-term goal is to be proof of stake, and we'll see if that happens. You know, nothing's set in stone, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but the fact of the matter is proof of work is the most decentralized way to have a cryptocurrency governance structure, because the miners vote, and the miners are all over the world. Like, everyone could be a miner in the world. You know, anyone could do it, even on like a personal computer with like a nice GPU. So it's better to have the more decentralized proof of work versus proof of stake, where you get to hold coins and be rich, and also care about the project to be voting. Alright, so I'm not going to go too deep into that, but there could be some contention when this Ethereum fork happens, Constantinople, because the miners that are so important for the governance structure of Ethereum are being disenfranchised. Their backs are really up against the wall. I've been arguing that there's probably going to be a chain split for Ethereum. And then I saw another argument saying, no, there can't be a chain split because the difficulty bomb's going to go off in a few weeks. And the miners that would do a chain split would barely have any time to, fork the code to get rid of the difficulty bomb. The difficulty bomb basically makes it like once every year. Ethereum has the difficulty bomb go off if there's no upgrade, and that would make the blocks pretty much stop and ruin the chain. And that forces people to upgrade, forces people to come together and decide on an upgrade. That's why Constantinople is happening right now. In fact, it's almost like they didn't need this fork. Like, there's not so much great stuff happening here. It's mostly contention, but it's a forced upgrade because if it wasn't upgraded, the difficulty bomb would go off. So instead of simply getting rid of the difficulty bomb or something in a fork, they add all sorts of other stuff. They put through their objectives and ideas and change things. It's a lot different than Bitcoin, a lot weaker than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not hard forked like this. Bitcoin is not changed like this regularly. Bitcoin does not have a difficulty bomb. Ethereum has a lot of weaknesses, which is maybe why it's gone down way more than Bitcoin has percentage-wise. Like, Bitcoin was at $20,000 at its peak, and now it's like $3,600 something. Ethereum was at $1,400 and now it's $127. So Ethereum's declined a lot, and the centralized, messed up governance structure, because it's pretty centralized even now, even though it has proof of work. The developers are like doing anything they want. They say they take total community feedback, but then again, the developers are kind of like pseudo-anonymous and very powerful, and they don't listen to the whole community. If they did, they would not be messing with the miners and trying to put through their objective to get rid of the miners. So I've always liked Ethereum. I think it's like the best DApp platform, the best smart contract cryptocurrency, but simultaneously, I think it has some serious centralization flaws, and the developer team has too much power, and that might really take away from it long term. In fact, I think if a cryptocurrency came along that was more decentralized, it could overtake Ethereum. Like, if there was a cryptocurrency and blockchain platform that was way more decentralized inherently, with the developers like stepping back and not trying to be in control of everything, it could overtake Ethereum long term. So that's a possibility, especially if Ethereum has serious problems during this fork. Alright, so not to get bogged down with Ethereum, because we talked about it plenty on the last show. Bitcoin Cash is at $131, and Bitcoin SV is at $78. Add them together, you got like $208. And before the fork, Bitcoin Cash was over $600. And before that, it was like thousands of dollars. Back when, Bitcoin was $20,000. Bitcoin Cash has been doing very poorly, and also the whole point of Bitcoin Cash was that block size is bigger than 1 megabyte for scalability, but then again, so few people are using Bitcoin Cash that it's almost senseless. It doesn't make any sense. Like, the whole point of their creation is meaningless because they don't have block sizes over a megabyte. Their block sizes are usually less than 100 kilobytes because so few people use it. Moving downwards on the list, EOS is sitting there near 2.2 billion. Litecoin's at $32 about. And then we got Tron. Tron is showing a double peak. So oftentimes when a speculative bubble pops, it shows a double peak pattern because it'll go up to the top of the bubble, crash a bit as the dump starts, but then some people will be like, wow, it's gone down, it's a good time to buy, and then it creates a double peak, and then it really crashes. So it could even be like triple peaks and stuff. But it looks like a double peak to me because it really pumped. It went up 170% in the past month before the crashes started, and then it went down like 40%, then it went up like 15-20% just now, and now it's starting to level off again. I don't see any reason why Tron would like rally like this. It seems like a pump and dump. Alright, so the privacy coins, Monero is at $46 almost. It's still way down. It's not like really a positive market situation, but none of the cryptos are in that great of a situation in the market. This is actually near the bottom of a bear market, so you can make lemonade out of lemons here, but it's really near the bottom of a bear market. But I can't call a bottom either, so I've said this over and over. You cannot call a bottom for this market until we see consistent long-term rises. I think it's quite possible we'll retest the lows. The lows of this bear market was in mid-December 2018. The price of Bitcoin went as low as like $31-$20 on Bitstamp, and the total crypto market cap went as low as $100 billion. Right now, the total crypto market cap's $122 billion about. And so, yeah, we could see like a 20% retrace down towards the bottom, even more. I don't think the bottom's in yet. Any sort of big chaotic event could cause a major crash. And by the way, so let's just get into the first news of the day. It's not good news. Cryptopia. So I remember Cryptopia from the early days. Cryptopia used to be really fun back in 2014 when I started. It was like basically the best place to get tips. And so you know how the Dogecoin community tips each other Dogecoin? On Cryptopia, they were tipping like everything. Maybe not Bitcoin, really, but they were tipping all sorts of altcoins. So you could like sit there in the chat and get all sorts of coins and then start trading with those coins. So literally, you didn't need any money, which was perfect for me because I was just living in my parents' house in my bedroom, past the age of 18, and I was trying to get into cryptocurrency. And so yeah, I would just be on Cryptopia, and I would get all sorts of different altcoins from chatting, and then I would start using them to trade, and it was like really interesting and good experience. I've since then gone back there like this year. And there's like nothing really going on with the tipping anymore, and lots of foreign languages in the chat. Not putting that down, but like it's not like what it used to be. It's like, I can't even follow the chat, and there's no tipping. But here's the real news of the day with Cryptopia. So Cryptopia is a fairly well-known alternative cryptocurrency exchange, especially since they list a lot of the smaller coins. In fact, a lot of the smaller cryptocurrencies depend on Cryptopia. A lot of those. There's like over 2,000 cryptocurrencies on CoinMarketCap. Like maybe 1,000 of them, well not 1,000, but hundreds of them depend on Cryptopia because Cryptopia is the biggest exchange a lot of these coins are listed on, and they have a lot of their supply inside of Cryptopia. Cryptopia got hacked. Yes, it got hacked. And it looks pretty serious. So I was reading the statement from Cryptopia. Let me just read it. We apologize for the delay in keeping you updated and appreciate your patience. And by the way, this just came out just now at like 5 hours ago. On 14th of January 2019, the Cryptopia exchange suffered a security breach which resulted in significant losses. Once identified by staff, the exchange was put into maintenance while we assessed damages. And then they notified the government, including the New Zealand police and the high-tech crimes unit, and they're investigating the matter as a major crime, and they're assisting them. And they're saying Cryptopia will remain in maintenance mode with trading suspended, and we're committed to getting this resolved as quickly as possible. So basically, cryptocurrency is immutable for the most part. In fact, yeah, it is. It's irreversible. I think Cryptopia is toast. Like, this is like totally a death statement, and very unfortunate because Cryptopia, even if the chat's not as good as it used to be, very important exchange for like a lot of alternative cryptocurrencies. So what we're seeing with Cryptopia right now, once people wake up and realize this, and around the world the implications are felt, we could see a lot of cryptocurrencies collapsing like today. A lot of their supplies might have gotten totally wrecked. A lot of the communities Well, it's not really about the supply getting wrecked. It's like the community of those cryptocurrencies getting wrecked, and then the fear causing panic selling. We could see a lot of small cryptocurrencies collapse, and that could feed back all the way up to Bitcoin. Like, if there's any problem anywhere in the crypto space, it usually feeds back across the whole space. I think Cryptopia getting destroyed is a major, major news. And I'll keep you updated on this, but it seems like pretty much like they're done. I don't see how this is going to end well because, they're probably talking to the police. The police are like, oh, maybe we can recover your coins. You can't. And what's going to happen? So let's say they lost all their money on Ethereum, and I saw in the article that broke this that there was $2.5 million of Ethereum coins and $1 million of Centrality coins, which I never heard of, but yeah, there you go. Cryptopia has lots of obscure coins, so they're saying several $1 million of coins was moved suddenly right before this thing happened. And so let's say it was all Ethereum coins that were stolen. Even if it was all Ethereum coins that were stolen, all the coins in the exchange will be seized by the government during the investigation and then liquidated to pay off they might be able to give a little bit to the customers after of years. Look at Mt. Gox. So Mt. Gox had a little bit of Bitcoin left in the end, and now they're distributing it. They still haven't given any of the Mt. Gox customers any money yet. It's taking forever. So Cryptopia really got hacked like this. No one's going to see a cent for a long time, and that includes all those obscure cryptocurrencies. Even if a cryptocurrency had most of its circulation inside of Cryptopia, they're not going to see a cent of that, or any of it even. They might even just dump it, or get rid of it, or by the time they're ready to distribute it, it'll be worth nothing. So this is tremendous news. And that's the news of the day. One other story of the day is that there was reports saying that Russia is going to buy $10 billion of Bitcoin to skirt United States sanctions. Number one, the United States sanctions on Russia are not that serious. Yes, some companies are banned, but the Russia and the United States are trying to have a good relationship, and they must because they're both nuclear powers, and it's really important for global peace. And Trump is not issuing huge sanctions on Russia, and Trump is the president of the U.S. Number two, the story came from a guy on Twitter. And then the Telegraph.co.uk or whatever used that tweet and wrote a story as if it came from the Russian government. And then the guy on Twitter that made the story in the first place cited that story. And then Zero Hedge wrote about it. And then the guy on Twitter cited that story. So he made up a lie pretty much, or his speculation. It was probably his speculation. And then, he kept citing himself basically. And he makes himself look like he's right just because he said something. Some news sites picked it up. And he loses all credibility in my eyes, this source, because he says Bernie Madoff is Satoshi. Bernie Madoff is this guy who ran a Ponzi scheme in Florida and New York or something. Bernie Madoff's just a scammer who obviously has no technological capabilities, and he's saying he's Satoshi, the source that says Russia's going to buy $10 billion of Bitcoin. So I don't think Russia is officially or unofficially, they're probably not going to buy $10 billion of Bitcoin in a month like this source is saying. So there's the news of the day. The markets are crawling downwards a little at this point, but they had a nice short squeeze in the middle of the day. Cryptopia was hacked, and Russia's probably not buying $10 billion of Bitcoin. Come back tomorrow for another exciting episode, and go to BitcoinNews.com 24/7 for the full spectrum of Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency analysis. This is your host, Space Marine, signing out.